Bam guys, welcome back to part 2 of ICUE fixes. When you open up Corsair's ICUE, you may get a headache just by staring down at the screen. I don't blame you. I can understand all the frustrations, especially when it comes to ICUE version 5. Without further ado, let's go ahead and figure out some of these problems that some of you guys and some of the viewers out there are having issues, and let's do our best to resolve what your issues are. And if you still have problems, please let me know down in the comments down below and I'll try to resolve it for you. If I'm unable to, I will make sure to attempt to make another video for you guys out there. The first issue that some people are having is going onto Corsair's language website. How can you get to the proper language? Say if you're in another country and you want to go into, say, the German website, or maybe you want to go to the French website of Corsair. Well, let's do this first. Go to ICUE software. As you can see, it automatically led me to the US website. But say if you're from Germany or from another country, let's try to change this out and put it to the proper ICUE that is located to your country. It's also very important as well that your PC is also, say, in German, because if it isn't, then it can conflict with ICUE, therefore giving you issues installing ICUE. Right down here, you're going to see location. You're just going to swap that out. And say you're from Germany, just like as we mentioned, and we want to switch the language over to Germany or German. And then once you do, then you should be able to download ICUE from your country. So you just go to ICUE here, and we want to make sure to download it, and therefore you shouldn't have an issue installing ICUE from here. And if you do, please check out the other video that I have, the first part, where I explain a little bit more in depth on this, because I pretty much go over the same idea, the same concept. This is for everyone out there who is having trouble to get ICUE in German or ICUE in another different language. What if yours doesn't even open and you just see a crash report, or even the one that says unsupported operation? Because that is also a big pain. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to uninstall ICUE. In order to do so, you just have to go right click on this Windows icon right here. Now this works for either Windows 10 or Windows 11. And you're going to go over to the applications, the installed applications, and you're going to type in ICUE. Right after you do that, you're going to just hit this 3 dots, the menu, and you're just going to go to uninstall. Once you do, it's going to tell you that it's going to uninstall everything related to Corsair's ICUE. So say now it is uninstalled. Once it is completely off your system, you're going to hit Windows R. And then once you do, you're going to just type in the very simple %, app data, percentage, and you're going to click this and click OK. Once you do, you're going to go to Corsair and you're going to delete all the folders that has to do with ICUE. When you do, this will erase any type of temporary files that you had when you installed it, and plus whatever files that you had when you installed the software for ICUE 5. Now, after you delete those folders, you're just going to hit Windows R again, and this time, instead of %app data, you're going to just put %local app data, just like this. And then now you're going to click OK, and you're going to also delete the files that Corsair also has when it comes to ICUE 5 and plus the crash data. When you do uninstall ICUE 5, please do not try to save any of your devices. You can save your profiles, but do not try to load them on right away, because your profiles could also be corrupt on the side note. But anyway, the next step is you're going to hit Windows R and you're going to type regedit for registration, for registry, edit. You're going to click yes, make sure you run it as admin. And now you're just going to go to your current user. And once you go to current user, you're going to go to software, and you're just going to delete your Corsair folder that is in here. If you don't have a Corsair folder, that's not a big deal, because it might also be under local machine and software. and we got Corsair on this one. So make sure you delete that folder. And then once you do that, just go to your Windows button down here, hit the power button, and you're just going to restart the PC. Once your PC boots back up, you're just going to go right back into your browser like you usually do. And then once you do, you're going to want to go and download Corsair. So just download Corsair, reinstall it, a fresh install, and it should work. That should resolve the crash reports that you get. It will also resolve the unsupported operation. Now, say if you're not having any type of connection, you don't have any type of internet connection, that may be a really simple fix. All you have to do is go down here, search bar, just type firewall. Or if you have any type of firewall that is not just Windows, maybe you have Norton, maybe you have another type of antivirus, make sure you disable the firewall or you allow the program in order for it to work. So if I want Corsair to work, just hit allow an app, and then you should see Corsair's ICUE come up over on this side. Now, if you don't see it on here and you want to make sure that it is enabled, just go back here. And then you're going to just click advanced settings. When you go into advanced settings here, you're just going to go into inbound and outbound rules. So we're going to allow Corsair. So in order to do that, we're just going to right click new rule. When you hit new rule, you're going to just allow the program and then go to the specified path of where Corsair is on your PC. For example, it will be under C, program files, and it will be under Corsair, Corsair ICUE, and then make sure you click the main file, ICUE, and go ahead and put that as an exception. And once you have this path corrected, just hit next, and then click allow the connection. You could also do the same, not just for ICUE execution file, but also do it for your update services, as this should be able to allow you to install all the necessary requirements that you need for your Corsair ICUE. Now, if that doesn't work, you're going to have to uninstall ICUE again completely, but this time install the old version of ICUE. And if you're wondering how to install the old version, it's not really that hard. Let me switch this back over to English, as this PC is installed in English. So let's go here, and you're going to go down to downloads. You're going to go to the downloads tab, and what you're going to do is instead of downloading the new version 5.10.82, I know a lot of you are probably waiting for the 6 to be released already because they really need to. But anyway, if you're still having issues with version 5, you're going to have to download version 4.33. Download it like you usually do. Install it into your PC. And once you do, if it allows you to install ICUE 4.33, it shouldn't really give you any issues, as there wasn't as many issues with it. And what you have to do is you're going to have to go into the setup. It's going to look similar to ICUE 4. Looks very similar to 5. So what you have to do is go into settings here. And then you're going to want to make sure that you update your firmware and update your software. Once you do that, then you can uninstall 4 and then reinstall 5. Ironically, sometimes ICUE doesn't let you install the new version of ICUE unless all your firmware is up to date. And that could be a pain because in order to resolve that issue, you have to install the old version of Corsair. What if you have a MSI motherboard, a MSI graphics card, anything to do with MSI? You have to have MSI's Mystic Light. If you do not have MSI's Mystic Light, you will not see motherboards, graphics card, or whichever RGBs that you have for MSI on ICUE. You're going to go here and then you're going to download it. So just download Mystic Light and download the MSI Center software. Download it now. And what you're going to have to do is once you download MSI Center software, make sure all your motherboards, make sure your graphics card, all the drivers that are up to date. You can now exit it, but just make sure that you don't have MSI controlling your RGBs. Otherwise, Corsair will not pick up on your MSI. Now, what I would do is after you install MSI's Mystic Light, make sure to restart your PC. Once you do, just make sure you go down here to make sure that MSI's Mystic Light is not down there, and because that can really get in the way of controlling your RGBs. You just have to really make sure that you have the plugins enabled for Corsair. So to do that, just hit the settings cog up here, and you're going to go to the plugin side and make sure to install the MSI plugins, because then it will detect your MSI lights. It's the same with ASUS. It's no different. If you have an ASUS motherboard or a graphics card, you just download Armory Crate, make sure to install the necessary plugins, make sure it's up to date, and then just enable it right here. And once you install it, it should pop up right here as I have a graphics card and ASUS motherboard for this PC. Also, to let you guys know, not all MSI and all ASUS motherboard and graphics cards are Corsair friendly. So you have to make sure that it is in the compatibility side of Corsair, so that way you can be 100% sure that it should be enabled in your ICUE. Now, there's also a lot of complaints when it comes to Corsair keyboards not being detected. And sometimes that's actually a really easy issue, especially if you have, say, a K70 that's a tournament edition, or if you have a tournament edition keyboard, you might not even know it. There's actually, on the back of the keyboard, there's a little switch where you can turn it into tournament mode, or you can turn it back into regular keyboard mode. If you turn it back to the regular keyboard mode, then more than likely that will resolve your issue. Now, if that doesn't, the next step I would highly suggest you to do is unplug your keyboard from your USB port and try a different port and see if it detects it then. Sometimes your USB ports can go bad, and if that's the case, then it may not properly read your keyboard. It might be sending just enough juice for your keyboard to be able to be powered on, but it may not be enough power for Corsair's ICUE to be able to read it and be able to control the lighting effects or the macros that you would like for your keyboard. If that doesn't work, the other step is you want to make sure that your keyboard is not in BIOS mode. When it's in BIOS mode, you're unable to control macros or lighting effects. It's just practically just a keyboard. If you have a, say, K95 RGB, you unplug your keyboard, just as we discussed earlier with the USB. And then with the keyboard unplugged, you're just going to hold down the escape key. After you hold down the escape key, just keep holding it, plug in your USB port. Once you do, just keep holding your escape key until your keyboard starts to begin flashing. And once it does, open up ICUE and then update your keyboard. It will also come up as a little icon. Maybe if it's not even installed the packet for your keyboard, make sure to download it, because it's going to show up on the right hand corner right down here to install the packet for your keyboard. Now, if you have another type of keyboard, a K55 just say, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to unplug the keyboard, and then you're going to hold down the function key and press F4 down at the same time. And then once you do that, you're going to plug in the keyboard back into your PC, and do not let go of the function and F4 keys. Release the function and F4 keys after about 10 seconds and count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi until you reach 10. And then once you do, your keyboard should flash similar to the K95. And once it does, then you can open up ICUE just as I showed. Just go to the settings cog and go to firmware updates and then update your keyboard. Now, if you have a wireless one, make sure to turn off your keyboard. While the keyboard is off, hold down the escape key. Now, while you hold the escape key, turn on your keyboard, and then after about 2 to 5 seconds, release the escape key. You will start to see your keyboard flash, and once it does, same instructions. Go to the settings cog, go to firmware update, and then check for an update for your keyboard. Now, if this doesn't work, then there's more than likely an issue with your ICUE software. And if there is, go into your setup file and click repair. If you don't know how to do that, just go to the first video as I show you how to do it there. Now, if there is a consistent issue, you tried everything just like that, then this is an issue that's more than likely going to have to be forwarded to Corsair, because you probably have an issue with your keyboard. It could be very possible that someone had the keyboard that you bought that was supposedly new and could have bricked it, and that would be another issue, or it could have came from the factory just unprepared. That's how you can fix the keyboard issue. Now, what about the headsets that aren't working with ICUE? What you have to do is you have to remove your USB wireless receiver. Usually comes up here. I'm on a different PC, so I don't have it right now, but you'll see like a USB dongle right here, and it's going to be for your wireless headset. What you have to do is you're going to have to remove your USB wireless receiver. Once you remove the wireless receiver, make sure your headset's off. Just plug in your headset via USB to your PC. And what you're going to do is once you plug in your USB and open up ICUE, you should see that right on the bottom right hand corner, you should see your headset come up. Say if it is a Corsair Void or some sort of Elite wireless headset, it should pop up on the corner here and download the proper packet for ICUE 5. Once it does, make sure to download your headset from there, and then your USB dongle inside of ICUE. And now you can modify your lighting settings. You can control it just like any other type of effect. Another issue that is also pretty common is ICUE Elite H150 XT, where you have the screen. That's on my other PC, but what you have to do is if it's not reading, typically it's because ICUE's software is messed up. Go into the setup file and repair the setup file. Now, if you don't know how to do that, go to the first video. I show you how to do that. Now, if you do that, that should be out the way. Say if it's still not showing up, then you have to go to step 1 where you have to uninstall ICUE, and therefore it should work then. Once you do have it set up and once it does pop up properly, then go to the settings cog. It's super important to do this. Make sure to go to firmware updates and update your cooler. Once you update your cooler, you should have 0 issues. It's also very important to make sure your software is also up to date. Again, I'm on a different PC here, so it's not going to show every type of product that I currently have on this PC. But just make sure to install the proper firmware. Now, if your fans aren't showing up, I'm also hearing this a lot. Now, this can happen all across the board, whether you're in ICUE 5 or ICUE 4. This is actually a really simple solution. Now, you might see your fans like this, it might be sitting, or even worse, you might not even see your fans at all. So what do? How do you get to your fans? You have to go to your lighting setup. What you're going to do is once you go to your lighting setup, go over to the type of fans that you have. Now, I have QL fans, so I'm going to click QL, and then you have to put the number of fans that you connected to your commander node, or maybe this is going to be a perfect example because you're going to go to lighting setup, and then you're going to open up the setup lighting channel 2, say if you have more than 3 fans hooked up. Now, I also have LED strips hooked up, so it's going to look something like this. It might come up like no device connected. It's going to detect that you have something connected to your PC, but you just have to enable it. Go to setup lighting channel 2, click it, and then you're just going to go over, for example, I have LED strips, RGB LED strips. I got 4 of them installed. Now they pop up. Now you have on lighting channel 1, you have your fans enabled. On LED channel 2, you have your LED strips enabled. Now this one, it only detects that I only have 1 channel hooked up. This is what it should look like if you only have 1 channel hooked up, but if you have another channel hooked up, it should come up just like this. Now, if it doesn't come up, then more than likely you probably have an issue with your lighting node, or you might have an issue with your lighting node core. And then from here, you can adjust the lighting. In order to go into the lighting and be able to modify it, just go here, go to your lighting channel, and you can modify the lighting. And now your lighting should come up. It should come up rainbow by default. Another issue that I'm hearing is that the lighting isn't showing that the lights that they set up for their lighting node. There is 2 different types of lighting. Lighting channel 2, as you see, I have watercolor spectrum, and that is the default setting. Now say if you change it out, let's change this out. We're going to remove the default setting, and now we're just going to add something new. Instead, we're going to do color warp. And now you got the color warp. You put the setting, you can save it, go to default, and then you can save it right here with this little floppy disk. So as you can see, it's saved in ICUE. Now when you exit out, you're probably noticing that it's not doing what you programmed lighting node core to do. If you want it to stay on even without ICUE being open in your PC, you have to put it in hardware lighting channel 2. Because now you're probably saying, I didn't do the rainbow, I removed the rainbow, and now I got this whole color warp working. You have to, in order for your hardware lighting channel to show up, you have to make sure exit out ICUE. If you didn't want ICUE to be really open in the first place, just disable ICUE on the start of system startup. That's if you don't want ICUE to work. In order for the actual software lighting to work, ICUE has to remain open. Otherwise, this will not work. Your setting will not work when it comes to your lighting channel. You can keep it on color warp by keeping ICUE open, and just make sure that it is checked if you want ICUE to open up with your PC. So if you're wondering why your profile is resetting each time you start your PC, this is the reason why. You either have ICUE to start up with your PC or you don't. Hopefully you found this content very useful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you know anybody else who needs help with ICUE, make sure you share this video with them. If you need help with other steps troubleshooting with ICUE, make sure to check out the first video. And also, if not part of the big wonderful fan band, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button for more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And for all the newest updates, make sure you follow my X handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. FanBam guys, I hope this sincerely helped you out. Don't be afraid to put any comments if you're still running into issues. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo signing out.